everyone, this is RadTechShoe, and welcome back. It has been a while since I've done one of these little commentary videos, but I thought I'd go ahead and get my 2 cents in on a new exotic in Destiny 2 that I just recently acquired. It's called the Trinity Ghoul. It is a exotic bow, energy weapon, arc element, and when I first got it, I was actually pretty excited. You know, because I was like, ooh, an exotic bow, nice. We finally get bows in the Forsaken DLC, and now we get a cool exotic bow. So I thought I'd try it out in several Crucible matches, and right off the bat, reality hit me like a train wreck. Oh man, I thought that this weapon was just gonna be boss in PvP. I thought in the Crucible, I was literally just gonna be able to walk in and just click heads and just annihilate people. But unfortunately, that is just not the case, especially not with me. Now, let me get right off the bat. Let me clear something up right off the bat. I am not a great Crucible player. I am not reliable or consistent when it comes to Crucible. I'm okay. I consider myself very middle of the road when it comes to Crucible in general. So I'm not exactly able to fully utilize this bow and get it to live up to its potential. I'm not able to maximize the value of this weapon. So we're going to clear that. We're going to start that off with a premise. I consider myself very middle of the road when it comes to Crucible. Nonetheless, I'm going to give you my opinion on it as an average Joe. I'm going to give you my opinion on the Trinity Ghoul, so let's get right into it without further delay. I've wasted enough of your time and you're all pretty busy, so let's jump right into it. So the Trinity Ghoul fires three arrows instead of one, and they have a little bit of, and they have like, they have an arc element damage to them, and they split, and the split is wide. As you fire all three, there's a big split and gap between them as they fire horizontally. They split horizontally. They don't split vertically. They split horizontally. I would love it if they split vertically. I think that would be better for me personally. But nonetheless, they split horizontally, side to side. And in order to reduce that split, to make all three of them group up nice and tight, you have to fully pull back on the drawstring and ADS. And you have to do that for the maximum time and duration. You can't just quickly, do a twitch shot. You can't just quickly tap the drawstring and pull it back. You have to pull it back all the way until it locks and secures in place. And then as you see right there, you can fully shoot it. And as you can see, they're pretty grouped up well on that pipe. And that's when you try and shoot your enemies, when the drawstring is fully pulled back and you're ADS'd. If you lax on either one of these, the split is going to be very, very noticeable, and you're not going to get kills with this weapon. The damage per individual arrow is pretty weak, I'm not going to lie, so you need to group your arrows up and go for headshots. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not that great in Crucible, so I'm not that able to really line up well on headshots. I'm not that good with snipers. I'm okay with the regular bows. I'd like to think I'm okay with the bow. With a regular bow, with the regular legendary bows, I can use them reasonably in Crucible, but I still can't maximize their effectiveness or get max potential from their value, as you see right there. I miss, even when an enemy's running right at me. But the point is, you're going to have to be very proficient. You're going to have to be someone who doesn't have problems sniping. If you're able to click heads with a sniper rifle, no problem, then this bow probably feels good for you. Although, I will admit, one of the biggest problems with this bow is setup. You need to set up with this weapon. This is not a weapon where you can run around the corner and quickly duel with someone. You need to have the good setup. You need to have the range to use this weapon on. They can't be too close. And you need to have the drawstring pulled all the way back while you're ADS. And you're going to have to get that feel for it. And as you can see right there, they had the right range, but I wasn't able to fully line up. And that's one of the biggest problems with this weapon, is if the enemies know you're running this weapon and they just decide to rush you, especially even by themselves, it can be a problem. But if they rush you in twos, it's very hard to get maximum potential and effectiveness out of this weapon. Not only that, but when you get a headshot, when you get a critical headshot kill with this weapon, your next shot, just your next shot, will deal will have arcing damage off of the arrows, which is cool and all. But if you die, you lose that perk for the next shot. It only lasts for this one shot only. So it's very difficult to actually get that special bonus perk in Crucible when enemies are constantly rushing you, and they're rushing you either in numbers or they have shotguns and they're making themselves very hard to hit. Like I said, this is one of those weapons where you're gonna have to be already effective at clicking heads and keep people at a distance. You see here, I'm trying to keep my distance. I'm trying not to rush, because rushing just sets me up for failure. You want to keep your distance with this weapon, and you want to make it so that they're not able to be mobile in front of you. And as you can see right here, mobility can be a very big problem, not only because you have to fully ADS and draw back while trying to line up headshots, but you also need to, you know, line up those headshots and try and keep them at a distance. And there's just so much to try and keep in mind and try and, you know, work in your advantage. And it's just, this gun is not the great Crucible godsend like some people want to make it out to be. Like I said, if you're great with sniper rifles, good at keeping people at distance, and you don't miss very often with headshots, then you probably might feel at home with this weapon. Not to mention, it is a bow, so it does have the arrows do have a drop to them. So just keep that in mind. But you're just gonna have to learn to, you know, you're gonna have to be patient with this weapon, but don't expect to just annihilate people with it. It's not a godsend. It's not an easy mode killing weapon. It is definitely something that is going to give you it's gonna frustrate you at times. And chasing enemies with it is not advisable either, considering how they just do stuff like that. So I strongly recommend, after playing several Crucible games, if you do take this into Crucible, my recommendations are have armor set up so that you reduce flinch, that you draw back faster, that your target acquisition is smoother and easier. You want to try and get give yourself as much of an advantage as you can, because using this bow is already a little bit of a disadvantage. I'm not gonna lie. Even when it feels like you should be getting people on the head, it just does not feel reliable. It feels like the bullets, even when you hit someone in the head, like right there, for some reason, it feels like the arrows don't have enough base damage. I would like to see if maybe they could increase the base damage of each individual arrow. It just feels like sometimes when you do fully charged up shots, sometimes even two to the body should kill someone, in my opinion, considering the length of time it takes to draw back the bow and ADS. I really would like to see this gun maybe this weapon tweaked just a little bit to try and make it a little more user-friendly and a little bit more reliable and consistent. But time will tell. Maybe I'm just really bad with the bow. I'm okay with most of the bows, but this is definitely not beginner-friendly. This is not a beginner-friendly or user-friendly bow. I would have to say that this bow is PvE and PvE only. I would not recommend it under any other circumstances in Crucible, unless you just want to goof around, have fun. But as you can see, even when you're lining on targets, you have to get headshots, and it feels like you have to get all 3 arrows to click right on the head. If that does not happen, you're probably not going to enjoy the time you spend using this weapon. So I strongly advise you don't use this in PvP, use it for PvE. PvE, it is actually real fun. It's fun to click onto ads, but PvP, it's just, in the Crucible, regardless, Crucible Trials, I mean, I just don't see this being a great PvP weapon. I just don't. I see this being fun for PvE against waves of ads, because the arcing damage is extremely useful against weak ads. You know, just shoot in the middle of a pack against one ad, and you know, you can wipe out a wave of small little ads in one shot, and it's very satisfying to watch that happen. Other than that, though, I'd have to say that concludes my review for the Trinity Ghoul. I would just recommend you not use it in Crucible unless you absolutely want to, but be prepared for a lot of frustration. But anyway, that's going to do it for my review and this video. Thank you very much for joining me. If you like this video, please comment down below. Let me know in the comments if you have any other suggestions, and I will see you guys all later. Peace out, take care, catch you all next time.